Hello there. Welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and distress signal to our allies the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
Hello there. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw, writer, podcaster, hood enthusiast from the website josephscrimshaw.com.
Yeah, thanks for coming back one more time this week, Joseph. We are at minute 100. We've made
Close it out.
Wow. This has been a great week. I have washed my hood so much. It's the cleanest the hood has ever been.
Clean up the hood.
Yeah. Do you use Hood Clean, professional strength Hood Clean on that? We'll get here. I had a question about hoods now. My mind is reeling. But first, let's talk about minute 100. Minute 100 of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Starts with Snoke saying, "Give me everything." And it ends with Poe saying, "That could work." And of course, so I have two thoughts with Snoke saying, "Give me everything." The first is Goonies, where Snoke saying, "Give me everything," and Rey being like, "Okay, one time when I was 8, Unkar Plutt made me wash the AT-AT, but instead of washing it, I just totally spilling everything from her childhood." And the other thing was, of course, General Grievous, the wannabe General Grievous himself, Gary Oldman, in The Professional, when he says, "Get me everyone." Everyone! That whole thing. So I want Snoke to be like, "Give me everything. Everything!" I want him to get upset about it.
Is it the one with Natalie Portman in it? The Professional?
Wait. Yes. Right?
Isn't it?
It is.
Where she's like a 13-year-old girl and partner with the...
Yeah. Well, but that just, for some reason, my mind would not bridge that. I was like, no, that can't be. Natalie Portman is Queen Amidala. What do you mean?
It was I who bridged your IMDb.
But yes, it was Gary Oldman.
All right.
Anyway, those are the two things that I thought of.
Well done.
With Snoke saying, "Give me everything."
It's such an effective moment. It's such a villainous moment. I always feel bad for Rey. It looks painful. It is, of course, like within the narrative, an awful thing to invade someone's mind. But now that we're talking about it in a having fun kind of way, I had never occurred to it that he's got to go through her mind like a file folder, like scavenging on the desert. Scavenging on the desert, scavenging on the desert. Saw herself in a mirror cave. Where the hell is just Luke Skywalker? Because when he says everything, he's just like, "Where's Luke Skywalker?" That's what I mean by everything.
You have a lot of pod racer trivia in here.
Yes. You have a lot of feelings about sand too. I'm good on those.
On the move.
So you think the torture she is being subjected to is a mental, like something about her brain? Not it's not like she's being squeezed, because I was wondering what exactly is causing the pain to her. Is she being squeezed?
Oh yeah.
Is she being is it like ripping? Is it like, because I'm glad they didn't use force lightning, because we've seen that a lot, and we'll
we'll
see that
it
some
again,
more.
Yeah.
So I like that it's something a bit more vague and
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like it is the vicious and horrible. It's the dark side version of the mind trick, right? Where like the Jedi mind trick, one can debate the morality, but it's a gentle like, why don't you put on shorts instead of dress pants? Like it's just a light suggestion, and this is the I'm coming into your mind, and especially if somebody's resisting it, right? That this idea that it's the luminous meeting the crude matter again of like, I'm trying to resist you,
I'm thirsty.
grabbing everything, and it causes physical pain.
Yeah, I think it's like a flying version of Kylo extracting the BB-8 information from Poe in the Force Awakens, where he just kind of that didn't seem like a physical thing to me. That seemed like
Rey too.
Well, he tries, right, and then that leads to a
Rey's able to withstand
counteract. That's where they first. Maybe that's where they're first linked. Their minds are through no course of Snoke's action.
There's also Clone Wars.
What happens in Clone Wars with that?
There's also Clone Wars episodes about it.
It seems like there always is. No matter what
That's going to be my new answer to anything that anybody asks me.
Are you up to date on everything, Joseph? Like, do you watch Bad Batch and did you watch the Clone Wars, the last season and all that stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all up to date.
What do you think of, anyway, let's save it for another time.
Turn it into a different show.
Yeah, save it for a weekend show.
Well, I also
the end
had
of Snoke. Then we pretty much go back. Was there more about the Snoke part?
Yeah, a little bit. I just really wanted to take a moment to appreciate the lighting and makeup on Rey and on Kylo/Ben, in that they are in this, glowing red room, and yet they stand out for being, it's kind of a take on the orange and teal thing. They stand out for looking kind of like they're lit very kind of cool, with cool lighting. Cool. And they have a little bit, like Kylo in particular looks very kind of pained, like he's got dark circles and he's got like a very kind of like a harsh blue light going on him, because that's what he, he was kind of feeling the antithesis of this place at this point. You can see it you can see that he's not bathing in it, basking in it the way that Snoke kind of is. Snoke is projecting that kind of, warm glow, which is an interesting thing.
It's the slippers, the gold slippers.
It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah, but this is Snoke's having a great day, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he thinks everything's going great. Yeah, I meant to mention it last minute, so I'll just throw it in because this is my only Kylo commentary. Adam Driver is so good, and I really love how much this sounds like I'm making fun of him, but I absolutely mean it as a compliment. Particularly like in these scenes where he's torn and he's making his decision to take down Snoke, because Snoke's just another guy telling him what to do. Mm-hmm. He always looks like he is about to both cry and kick your ass at the same time. He's like, he is so good at being terrifying and you feel bad for him at the same time. You're like, I would like to run from you and give you a tissue, Kylo Ren.
Had you seen Adam Driver in other projects?
No, I wasn't familiar with him. I never watched Girls, right? He was on Girls. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, he and his beautiful hair were a revelation to me in The Force Awakens.
Nice.
Same here.
Yeah.
But since then, have you seen him in the other things?
Yes. I can't remember the name of the. But I can't remember the film, and that makes for boring podcasts. So yes, I saw Adam Driver in another film.
Somebody was just giving me a hard time for not, like, I can't believe you didn't mention blank, or like you didn't see him in blank, and I was like, I've never heard of blank until you just mentioned it, but like, I'll put it on my, it's noted now, but like, it's interesting.
There's a few things to watch.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot out there. But yes, now we can leave the throne room if you'd like.
Well, speaking of watching things, so they all get into the load lifters and escape from the ship, and I don't understand why they're just sitting there alongside the Raddus, kind of flying along with it. Shouldn't they be kind of like escaping?
Yeah.
Because like Poe wakes up and he's all like, what's going on? And then he sees the ship and he's like, oh no. And they're just kind of like, riding along next door instead of kind of like immediately departing. But,
like they just clearly can't go very fast, right? Because they get blown up for a long time.
You mean coming from this point forward?
Yeah, I just got the impression that like these go the equivalent of like these are golf carts,
right?
Compared to like the Raddus being a train. Yeah. Like they're just like, we'll get to Crait eventually, like very painfully slow.
I do really want to see them in golf carts at this point, though, like golf carts but in space. So like the sides are sealed off a little bit, and they're just kind of like maybe even making a little like kind of noise.
That's what you've got. They've brought us to golf carts, coward.
You're fueling up the golf carts.
Maybe they're still within the shields or something. Does that work?
Could be.
Like if you're close enough to the Raddus, are you protected by its shields? Give us a call. Let us know.
They do extend a little bit, but we can like visually see because we see the explosions.
Yeah, you see it getting hit with blasters, and it seem like they're outside of that radius, certainly.
Yeah.
I also like that they essentially had to do a calculus of like what, like if we drive too close to, they had to keep their distance but not look like they're keeping their distance. So if they drove too close to Crait, then it would be obvious, oh, they're headed for that planet. Let's check out that planet. But if they went too far away from it, then it would take forever which maybe they have a little bit of that problem, that it would take too long for them to get to Crait from the Raddus. So like they
the cloaking devices do not protect them, clearly.
Right. Well, they do, but not if you're looking for it.
So that's the weakness of the cloak ship. If someone actually looks for the ship,
if you look at it, then you'll see it. But if you're not looking for it, you won't see it.
It's more of a psychological cloak than it is a physical thing.
Growing up, when no one paid attention to me, I felt like a cloaked ship.
You still have the cloak too, so
there you go.
The other option, which I don't think it works narratively, is like Leia's like, hold it about here. This is the perfect framing of the Raddus. Now, somebody wake up Poe, and then let's all sit down real quick and watch him discover it.
Well, and also, shouldn't she just woke up? Shouldn't she be more like, okay, when we land this, I feel like she should be doing more than just kind of like, oh yeah, come on over, Poe, look, we're saying goodbye to the Raddus. It seems like she should have more things to be, she's been in a coma for 10 hours. She should be,
I'm sure
busy.
There was plenty of time for her to get caught up while Poe was napping.
Yeah, that's true.
Napping. Do you think there was any connection?
Sorry, no, I'm just imagining them saying, set blasters on nap.
99.
There's one set for nap. Do you think that there was meant to be any connection, or is it just happenstance that these two scenes are together where Rey screams out and then Poe wakes up? Like, are we supposed to infer any kind of connection there, that her screaming kind of wakes Poe up, or is that just like, that's just happenstance, that's just the way it's put together?
It always felt like to me it's a dynamic cut.
Yeah.
Not that he's like, wow, that scream is so loud. Who's screaming?
Yeah,
somebody's screaming, shut up, and he wakes up.
I was thinking it just more had to do with the fact that she was laying horizontal, and then it cuts to him also laying horizontal. Right.
It's more of a graphic match. Got it.
Yeah, more of a graphic thing than a. Although it's weird when they first show Poe and he has the patch, the Alliance patch. To me, it looked like, maybe I've just seen too many Star Wars movies, but to me, it immediately looked like his arm had been cut off, and that was like the stump of where his arm was. But obviously that's not the case.
They have an Alliance bandage for when your hand gets cut off. Just like slap the Alliance badge on there.
Exactly.
I love that jacket. I know the other jacket gets all the attention because it's a narrative focus in Force Awakens, but I love Poe's jacket.
He should have a whole line of jackets.
Yeah,
he really should. Yeah. I wish he would have had a jacket in Rise of Skywalker. He would have been a little warm on Pisana, but it would have been worth.
Do they sell Poe jackets at Galaxy's Edge? You guys have both been there, or clothing like that?
I don't think they do.
There's a whole clothing store.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they do specific character things too much. They do like Jedi robe and First Order. I really should have bought the First Order coat while I was there. I wanted it. I tried it on. I was like, this is pretty good. I was like, when am I going to wear this? I'm like, who knows? Who cares?
It's like a long black duster?
Yeah, long. I think it was like a gray, kind of a longish coat.
I can't picture you in that.
Well, it's because I didn't buy it.
Well, there you go. I could see you in a reversible hat before I could see you wearing a long Imperial jacket.
What about both? ¿Por qué no los dos?
Why not both?
But I feel like they don't do too many character specific things there. So I think like a Poe jacket would be too tied to that one thing, and they don't. I could be wrong. So this is where everybody was like, "No, you idiot! They have the so and so."
Yeah, I remember everything being fairly generic to keep a little bit of the illusion alive.
Right.
That's right, because in Galaxy's Edge, they're trying to perpetuate the illusion that it's. Like, they couldn't call it Poe Dameron jacket because unless Poe Dameron in universe licensed his name for clothing.
Right.
Yeah. So they could sell it as like Resistance jacket because they have their little Resistance area. In the First Order area is great because they have that big, cool ship.
Yeah.
And they do the shows with Kylo. And then it's just like the First Order has set up a store.
Yeah.
Kiosk, pop-up kiosk.
It's like a First Order Target. Like, go.
They have a merch officer.
Show your allegiance.
When I was a child, I wanted, they made the original Battlestar Galactica, the 1978 one or whatever it was. they had those colonial jackets, and I love them. And I used to see them advertised like in Famous Monsters and stuff, and never got one. But I'm glad I didn't, because I probably would have worn it once, been made fun of terrifically, and then never worn it again. So, but yeah, that was like
now I know what you get to for your birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Colonial helmet.
All right. But I'm going to get it the size that an 8-year-old would wear it. So you'll be like, oh, this is technically what I always wanted, but it doesn't help me now.
Oh,
but
it's like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
I got what I wanted. It's too small. So speaking of getting things they always wanted, Poe gets what he always wanted, which is a simple explanation for what their plan is.
Right.
So now Leia's totally like, oh, we're going to Crait. And like again, it bugs me that she's now like not taking it seriously that Poe tried to have a mutiny. Like if she had just said right from the beginning, oh, we're going to this planet, and like I don't know why now, like now Poe should be told what the plan is. Why now? Why?
Well, because now they're actually on their way there, and he can't do anything about it.
Can't he?
And
grabs the steering wheel. We're not going to Crait.
I feel like he didn't have to. Like it's not his. It's a need to know basis. The fewer people that as we'll find out momentarily, the more people that know about this plan, the more danger they're in. And also like that's I think I said it a week or two ago. It's like if he had just kind of come in and asked, maybe they would have told him. But instead, he was kicking garbage cans and whining about stuff from the get-go instead of saying like, hey, what's the plan?
Well, do you think if he had if Holdo had never entered into it and Leia had been there all along, would Leia have told him the plan?
I kind of think that she would have tried to get through to him because she wants him to become a leader, right? You know, she demotes him and slaps him, but with a lesson, right?
Yeah.
She tries to explain to him. And then I think once they've been decimated, they understand the full horror of the situation that they're in, and Leia is out and Akbar's out the window. And they make it really clear. They absolutely do tell Poe what the mission is. It's just to survive.
Right.
And his plan is trying to survive in a way, but it's all action. Go there, defeat them, do this. I love that Poe line when Finn and Rose have come up with the plan. And they're like, okay, so we got to go to this one ship. And Poe's like, and blow it up.
Right.
Yeah. And I like where your does remind you again and again that he's just like, he's a great guy who just doesn't think there's any way to fight except for throwing fists.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're, and that's what he gives Holdo. So she's like, well, if he's going to see everything as you got to blow up an attack, then I just need him to stay in his lane while we do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's so that now that it's safe, that there's like, he can't jump in a ship. There are no ships to jump in. He's in the ship that's been jumped to. Then it's like, all right, well, here's where we're going. And there's no danger of him knowing about it now because A, he can't do anything about it, and B, who's going to find out? Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. Yeah. What do we think about the Crait plan?
It's not Crait.
It's a great.
No,
not Crait, Bob.
I love it because it is exactly that. It's the story of Last Jedi. It's like sometimes you just need to survive. And in particular, which gets laid out, I think, in Force Awakens, and then really gets hammered home in Last Jedi. You survive to fight again, but you also survive just to inspire other people to. I think that's the whole thing about being the spark that lights the fire, and then eventually the fire is the Citizens Fleet. The fire shows up in Rise of Skywalker. So for me, it works great. It's almost like it's almost Empire Strikes Back just turned to 11 of like, was Empire Strikes Back so very exciting that as a child, you did not notice the whole movie is them just desperately trying to escape. Mm-hmm. And Last Jedi and the Crait plan has just turned that to 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always forget that's a whole nother segment of the movie. like it, obviously we're about to find out because we're not done yet. But we, the fact that so much happens once they do kind of escape essentially from the the slow speed chase, which we're still not through, but the fact that that there's a whole nother leg of the story that we spend so much of the bulk of the movie in this just kind of linear thing, and then we're about to move to a whole different. They're still on the run essentially, but moving to a whole different kind of angle of it. I completely forget. I'm like, oh right, yeah, and there's a whole lot of movie left.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the one thing I'd never noticed until I watched this is there's that one pilot kid who looks at Poe like, get a grip when Poe pops up. It's like, no. with his I overslept energy, and then slaps the window so dramatically. And there's that one pilot the whole time with just a weird little kind of buzz cut, I think. What are you doing? What's his deal?
It must have hurt Poe's prestige to be like, A, do a mutiny that fails, and then B, just be kind of like they had to stun you and drag you onto the ship. Like it must be kind of, how could you take him seriously after that if you were like his underling,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I apologize for being but in the books and on the Clone Wars guy, there's some great stuff in some of the books about Poe really wrestling with that and needing to be like, okay, I gotta win some respect back. I gotta mea culpa.
Yeah, and plus it helps that most people get killed, so there's very few people left. So
right,
I guess that's
everybody who's left to tell that story is on the Falcon by the end. So it's just like, no, I did.
If I could just gather all the people I've hurt in my life into one small room, that would be great. Only apologize once.
Although alternately, I want to say, what about we didn't lose respect for B.A. Baracus when he had to be his milk had to be dosed with a sleeping. A tranquilizer so he could get on a plane, did we? I don't know. That was didn't expect that to be such a head scratcher there. I was just making this a little bit 18. Everybody's like, did we? I don't know.
I had some information about Larma D'Acy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a Larma D'Acy fan?
D'Acy, I believe.
D'Acy. So yeah, that's what I was trying to confirm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here's my thing about Larma D'Acy is I feel like she is justice for the Star Wars characters who share exposition. She makes C.O. Bibble and Rick Ollier look like absolute fools because throughout this film, she delivers tons of just exposition. She does it again in this minute where she's the one who kind of explains the plan and just like blah blah blah. It's a mineral planet, blah blah blah. And it's the kind of stuff that we've made fun of C.O. Bibble and Rick Ollier for doing for decades now, and it flows beautifully out of Larma D'Acy. She's an exposition master.
Yeah, it seems much less blatant when she does it.
Yeah, she's just a great actor who just delivers it like, this is information you need to know, and I'm going to tell it to you crisply and cleanly, and I need you to remember the first time.
Maybe there's a certain kind of like sadness to it. Maybe that's it. Like with somebody like Rick Ollier, they're like barking. They're like, look, that's the thing. And you're like, oh. But her, she's, it's almost like, like a Mon Mothma too, where she's just kind of, like if you tell it to me in a somber tone, I'm like, oh no, like here's the information. Like.
And Rick Ollier shot about it. The whole planet's made of minerals.
Right, yeah.
So one thing, we learn in Rise of Skywalker that she's married to a Resistance pilot, who we will see in named Roby Tice. Wrobie Tice. Here's the thing I thought was most interesting. She's from the planet Warlenta. And Warlenta declined to join the New Republic after the Empire was fell. And this is like the first glimpse, I guess one of the few glimpses we get that it's kind of voluntary. After the Republic, after the Empire falls, like how many systems didn't It seems more realistic that after the Empire fell, it would kind of break up into like chunks. You know what I mean? Like smaller empires. But I'm curious as to, Joseph, you've read some of the auxiliary materials. Do they go into any of the thing about how the galaxy is structured politically?
Yeah. So politically, I think the big thing is like Mon Mothma really wants a light touch. She wants to be like, we're going to show you that we are not the Empire. We are going to, we're going to decentralize things a little bit. It's controversial that she doesn't want to have a big standing army and like demilitarizes, which is plays into the whole sequel trilogy. They're not ready for something like the First Order and don't want to admit that could be a problem. Yeah, and then the book Bloodline by Claudia Gray is really good. It's set 6 years before The Force Awakens and gets into the political structure. And one of the details that I really love is Mon Mothma and everybody sets up this kind of loose government that mostly gets held together by everybody respecting Mon Mothma. And when Mon Mothma is finally like, peace out, I'm done, then it start all the government corrosion that we are familiar with in real life.
Enter the bureaucrats.
Yeah, in come the bureaucrats. Yeah, and they set up. There's two political parties, the centrists and the populists. Who one is a little bit more kind of forgotten the lessons of the empire and wants to have more rigid control, and side of the populace who wants it to be more like, we want to help everybody, but we want planets and systems to do their own thing as well and have respect for them. And yeah, if you like that side of Star Wars, it's a really good book for it.
I do like that side of Star Wars, but I don't like reading the books with characters. I'd rather much read like a Star Wars history book than a novel.
I got a pitch for you. I think that they should hire Amanda Lawrence, the actor of Larma D'Acy, to do a Disney Plus series where she just does like the galactic history of Star Wars.
Totally.
And she's in character as Larma D'Acy, just explaining things to people.
I love it. She'd be like the what's the CNN lady who does all the foreign Amirpour?
Oh yeah,
right.
I can't remember real human names because I know Star Wars names.
Christina Amirpour, is that right?
Anyway, yeah, there's an apostrophe in there, right? No.
What planet is she from?
Earth.
Earth definitely has an apostrophe though.
Earth.
That was pretty much all I had for 100. But we kind of touched on it earlier. Joseph, you liked this movie right off the bat, right?
I did. I mean, I think definitely the first view, and I was like, oh wow, that's there's a lot of tonal things, a lot of sort of surprises in the structure. I loved the Luke thing immediately. In anything else I thought of in the first viewing, it was just eclipsed by how much I loved Luke. Coming around to, yes, the Jedi are needed. Yes, I need to let people see me as a legend. I need to embrace my own flaws and let other people see me as a symbol of hope. But I'm going to accept that I need to act, but I'm going to do it in my way, the way I'm comfortable with, which is this pacifist trick where nobody actually gets hurt. And he does exactly what a Jedi should do. He's not attacking, it's defense. He's saving people. So I really love that. I think the ultimate thing that I really, really love about Last Jedi, and it kind of ties into even some of the post stuff in this minute, is I do think it subverts expectations, but I don't think it subverts expectations just to make people, drop their popcorn on the first viewing, or to, go, all right, we're going to get crazy with Star Wars. Everything about it subverts standard Star Wars things in order to validate them by the third act. Like the Jedi get question of, are they needed? And, Luke appearing on Crait with the family blade, and then saying, and I will not be the last Jedi, is a pretty big validation that Luke Skywalker thinks the Jedi should continue, that lightsaber is worthy. We get the gray area discussion of, are the rebels and the Imperials, are they just the same, taking turns blowing each other up? That gets tossed around. And then Finn comes to this epiphany that no, they're not. There are substantive differences. And then I think even with Poe, we get this whole thing of like, is it great to be the hotshot who always does dangerous, risky maneuvers? And he gets criticized for it. He does get people killed for it. But then in this moment with Holdo coming up, it's validated that, sure, take the dangerous, crazy hotshot moves at the right moment when it matters. So for me, I often find myself in weird conversations with people who hate The Last Jedi because it subverts expectations. And then sometimes even people who love Last Jedi because it dumps Star Wars on its head. I'm always like, I think it does both. I think it subverts everything in order to get to a place of saying, let's question it and go, yeah, these core ideas matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is in contrast with, there's a lot of A lot also to be said about Game of Thrones in the same kind of space. And Game of Thrones, I feel like, did a lot of like twists just for twist's sake. Not to say that it wasn't, it certainly had its moments, but also like it felt like sometimes it was like, oh, that's just like, let's kill somebody for making it interesting, and I feel like that is not what this movie does, that it doesn't pull it, it doesn't do the, like you just said, it doesn't pull things just to pull them. It does, it works within the Star Wars milieu as much as it plays with it and turns it on its edge, but only to get there. So yes, I agree with you. That's my long form way of saying yes, you're right.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I think Game of Thrones is another fun one to discuss. But I do like that it is really like, this ain't your grandparents' Lord of the Rings. This is edgy and real. And I think like all of Game of Thrones is designed to push back, right? And I don't feel that way about Last Jedi. I don't think it's like I think it celebrates, honestly, a lot of Star Wars, including Luke questioning the Jedi. That's a ton of respect to the prequels. The prequels are about the Jedi making mistakes. So it's really respectful to the story of the prequels and the story that Luke has told, that Luke would have a failure and would question things. It's all of it feels very respectful to what Star Wars has been.
All right. Well, agreed. On that note, what Star Wars has been this week has been improved by having you here, Joseph. Thank you for being with us all week.
This has been a ton of fun. It's been really fun to, talk about some of the ideas and wrestle with the big stuff, and also just like have fun with this great, silly space movie.
Yeah. That's why we're here.
How do you feel about Porgs? We didn't get any Porg minutes. How do you feel about Porgs?
Oh, I like them. I like the Porgs. The Porgs are in the great tradition of, they're cute, and a big corporation's going to sell them, but they also work in the movie. I think the Porgs work because they got some dark humor for me. I like anything is the light in the dark. The fact that one of the best moments is the almost igniting the lightsaber into their eye. Thumbs up.
Speaking of, I don't know. Speaking of thumbs, we're going to use ours. Why don't you use yours to navigate your way to StarWarsMinute.com/Patreon? And that over the weekend, we'll put out some more episodes over there. At different levels, you get access to different things, including beautiful art by Alex. And we do a Saturday show, a Sunday show, all kinds of different stuff over there. So if you can't get enough of Star Wars Minute, go over to StarWarsMinute.com/Patreon. You also, Joseph, you have a Force Center Patreon. Am I not mistaken?
Yeah, I do. And that is, go to patreon.com/Force Center, and you can just Google Force Center anywhere you want. And my website is josephscrimshaw.com, that has links to all my other comedy stuff, and Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, where I am having fun with action figures. Those are all under the handle @Joseph Scrimshaw.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Somehow it didn't come up that you're a comedian in this. You brought it up. You was like, comedian and writer and stuff, but your comedy stuff wasn't at the forefront, but it should be. Everybody check out Joseph's comedy. We also have a Star Wars Minute TikTok, but we never do anything with it, and we forgot about it until just now. So don't, if you want your expectations undermined, perhaps go there, because we won't post anything and you'll be expecting fun Star Wars stuff. We don't have any of it. But we will have more fun Star Wars stuff on Monday here for a brand new Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.